Many people talk about how our thinking impact our feeling. And I think that is true. You think using your conscious mind and your body feels what you thought. So that is a mind to body relationship. But I think the other way is also true. Your body's feeling, the feeling that you held in your subconscious mind, impact the pattern thought. So in this video, I want to talk about the myth of mind-body connection. And it's not really a one-way, but it's a two-way street. But what's more important is to recognize and realize how your held subconscious feeling, there's a pool of held subconscious feeling that nested in your body, can become the major initiator of the pattern thoughts that you might not be actually intending to initiate, but rather that has become a part of your default mode. So what is subconscious held feeling, right? Now, I have created different videos that I talk about how up to the age of 6 and 7, your subconscious mind was fully open. So imagine the child who is very easy to learn language. That was me. I was from Tokyo. I grew up in Peru, and it was very easy for me to learn 2 languages. Back then, I wasn't speaking English just yet. But until the age of 11, I lived in Peru, Spanish-speaking country, and I was fluent in both languages, Spanish and Japanese, and without any effort, right? When we get to adult, we need to make some effort to learn language. But the reason that little child can learn language very easily is because the subconscious mind is fully open. Now think of hypnosis, right? When somebody is hypnotized, the person who is receiving hypnosis can kind of follow the guide easily because your conscious mind is fully being let go. So the conscious mind is the mind that has an opinion. Conscious mind is the mind that can reject or accept information. But your subconscious mind can only accept. So somebody who is in a hypnotic state cannot reject, so you just follow the guide. Yeah. So notice that when you are a child and when you are surrounded by parents, caregiver, school teachers, people in the community, and if your subconscious was fully open, meaning that you couldn't reject information, so you are basically hypnotized by society. That's actually the truth, right? Many of us, if not all of us, were hypnotized by the social norm, the social value, the opinion and emotion of our parents, the thinking patterns of our surrounding. And then we have received it. We absorbed it, right? And then sometimes we call this suppressed feeling, right? And I mean, that's one language to use, but because the subconscious mind was fully open, it wasn't really an information that entered because we suppressed it, but it was wide open, so we sort of received and absorbed it. And then after that age, 6 or 7, we start forming a conscious awareness. And then what if that subconscious held feeling that we absorb in an early childhood has a pattern, and that creates our thinking pattern, both positively and negatively. Yeah. So different ideas around how worthy we feel or not feel, how certain we feel to make a decision or not make a decision, how much we are willing to take action or not take action. Those traits comes from the sense of security, insecurity, all that comes from the held feeling. What if that's true, right? And if our experience is being shaped by our internal climate, which my main thing is our thinking and feeling, what if we can let go of that, the held feeling, to be able to alter the pattern thoughts that might not be serving you currently? So in this video, we're talking about the subconscious held feeling, but I'm gonna share with you what I know to be true as the 4 basic human needs I'm working with in the study group that I have, using these 4 basic human needs that actually cause us to hold those feelings, right? Cause us to hold those feelings. So the 4 basic human needs, first of all, is approval. Yeah, many of us is subconsciously seeking approval because that is the nature of our defense. We want to be approved, we want to be accepted, we want to be acknowledged. So when something that appears to be contradictory to approval, which is disapproval, shows up in your life, if you have these needs that didn't get met when you were little, that shows up intensely, right? It shows up as a fear, it shows up as an anger, it shows up as frustration, whatever the pattern emotion that you are accustomed to feel and generate, that's gonna be depending on you, the person. But the initial motivator and the seed of that generating that feeling and the thought is that defense. So the health feeling might be there, still there, because that need has not been met. The second human need is control. We all have this urge and desire to be in control with something, right? So when you're out of control, and by the way, I'm gonna be sharing 4 different needs, but each person has each needs a little bit stronger than all the other 3 needs. Sometimes people have 2 needs a little bit stronger than the other 2 needs, so it depends on you. But the second need is control. So think of the time where you are out of control, right? The outside situation is out of control. And then because the need to be in control is inside of you nested strong, and the feeling that comes from that is stored, let's just use that language, stored in your subconscious mind. A reaction inside of you show up, not because the outside is out of control, because you are meeting the situation out of control and you have a strong need to be in control. Yeah. So it's important to understand the distinction between the outside situation and the thought pattern, the emotional pattern that you're experiencing because of the seed inside of you. The thought is not gonna get triggered only with the outside, but there needs to be something inside of you to express. The third need is this sense of security, right? If you are not feeling certain and unsafe, you see that in your surrounding, you start creating thought patterns that focuses on insecurity because that security has not been met inside. Does that make sense? And the last human needs is separation. This is very interesting. Separation means that you are seeking separation. You do not want to be blended into something that might lead into the death of your individual identity. You want to be unique. You want to be having your own space. You want to be having your own identity that is separate from others to be able to survive. So if you have a need inside of you that the separation is not being met enough inside, and when the outside triggers that, you will have different frustrating thoughts or thoughts around that is coming from needing separation. So the 4 basic needs are needs to be approved, needs to be in control, needs to feel safe, and needs to feel that you're individual, unique, separate being. And those are the 4 fundamental basic human needs that is holding on to that feeling that needs to be resolved. So health subconscious feeling is right above that human needs, and human needs to be understood in order for that health feeling to dissipate and release. And what's interesting thing is that many of us tends to react to the outside world. And when we experience reaction, that is, the outside, we talked about this often, right? The outside world is a mirror of our inside. And the outside world, based on the law of attraction, is a mirror of the inside. But the perception of how we perceive the outside, we can only see something when something is, the same thing is inside of us. Does that make sense? When you come across some situation and you have an interpretation of that situation, you see so because that viewpoint is inside of you. So whenever you experience something through your viewpoint, it's not that what you're seeing outside is so, but you are so, that therefore you're seeing so. Let me say this again. Whenever you have a experience, reactional experience, or any experience really, it doesn't mean that the outside is so, but your viewpoint is so. Therefore, it's giving you that experience, and the viewpoint is so because there's something inside of you is so. So it's really important to understand that we experience based on the perception perspective, the lens that we're wearing, not because of the outside. So how do we release this health feeling, right? That's something that probably you might be thinking. Now, we are not going to go into a detail of how you can do that, but let me give you one overview or overall perspective, right? So when we react to the outside, approval, control, or safety or separation, we experience that thought and feeling because we're seeking that needs from the outside. And then when that need is taken away from you, you have that trigger and a reaction. But the truth is that we can never satisfy that needs if we are trying to fulfill that need using the outside thing, because we don't have any control, 100% control over the outside. So what we want to begin practicing is to feel those needs of approval, control, safety, and separation by yourself. So you want to acknowledge and approve your worthiness. You want to be able to see your life, no problem, with no control, or change the perception of what control means for you. And you want to be able to produce a sense of certainty and safety by acknowledging and understanding who you are, because the moment you start drifting towards survival and lack of safety, you are actually acknowledging the absence of power inside of you. And separation is sort of like an after effect when you start approving you and then changing that meaning of the control, and also to create safety, certainty inside of you that needs to be separate, start dissipating. That's how it works. So this is a video on the hell subconscious feeling and how the seed of that reaction is in our inside. And to be able to change the thinking pattern that is reactionally, we must be able to observe and acknowledge the hell feeling that is coming from those 4 human needs. And the key is to not to seek that needs to be filled by the outside, but begin working on filling that needs by yourself inside of you. I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.